It's been a while, but I've been enjoying driving the car all summer. One thing I've noticed is that it freaks me out every time I do a lane change to the right. So what happens is I look in my left mirror, I see stuff going on, no problem. And if I do a lane change to the right, my head automatically looks over for that mirror, just force of habit, and there's nothing there. I think a lot of old cars have the same thing, just one wing mirror, and that's it. You got to do a shoulder check and everything like that. So I started searching around for a matching mirror. In that search, I discovered that I have a Swan neck mirror. They are a little bit rare, getting harder and harder to find. There's a few different types of them, but I was able to find a match. Now, this is actually a driver's side, but the nice thing about the Swan neck mirrors is you can reconfigure them for left or right. So I think I found almost an exact match. One thing to note is that these parts are original. They're made in Germany. There's a bunch of different debate on where these came from, what different types there are. I've got a 3-star stamping on the mirror itself, a 3-star stamping on the inside. So I think this is going to match almost perfectly this one. I think from left to right you won't really notice the difference. If I do a good job installing it, it'll look factory. One thing that's going to be very difficult is the seal that's spacing the mirror off of the door is quite difficult to find, nearly impossible. So at some point I'll be going online to the FAQ. Some people have been 3D printing them. I'm going to contribute to that conversation, see if I can make my own or see what anybody else has done. So first things first, I'm going to have to pull off both door cards. Nothing left to do but start pulling stuff. The first thing to do is to pop off the vent knob. Now there's a little hole in the back, so you can use an Allen key to push off the cap. If you try to do it from the front side, you'll end up wrecking it. Now the handle, this little chrome piece on my car pops off, and there's a screw in here for access. On the top, the release for the handle or for the door latch and the window crank. You can gently peel off the plastic. And the last bit is popping off the clip. So if you start at the side, you can start to see the little plastic clips in there. These can get really brittle and break, but just be gentle and do what you can. Once you have all the clips off, it's pretty easy to just lift the card. You got to pivot it out and up. If you got everything off, it should come pretty easily. And there it is. So you can see these little clips on here. This is what clips it to the door frame. You want to be really gentle because these cards are pretty fragile. These are the clips that are locking into the door. Before you start this job, you're going to want to buy a bunch of new ones. I've already done this card, so some of mine are new and I have a stack to put back on. But with the door card off, I can get access to the mirror and how it attaches to the car, so I can copy this side and do the holes on the other side and figure out how it all works. So as it turns out, it's just a 10mm bolt here and a Phillips screw on this side, and that mirror will come off, and I'll be able to make a template to add the holes to the other door. So I don't need to take the door cards off at all. I'll put that one back on a bit after I take a break. It's hot out here. I don't know how I didn't notice that before. It is what it is. I'll put the door card back on in a minute before I get going. But this way I can make a template for the holes from this door, transfer it to the other door, and be good to go. And there it is. This is the rubber gasket that is going to be hard to come by, so I'm going to 3D print one of these. I'm not sure what else we can do. I can test with the other mirror just to make sure that it doesn't match, but get making a paper template. Okay, I've had a couple of issues. The first is thunderstorms rolled in, so I'm no longer working in the driveway. The other is these two mirrors are slightly different. So I've got the old one on my right. It's got the original gasket, screw for the trailing edge, and a bolt for the leading edge, which is fine. The Swan necks are the same. The mirrors themselves are the same, even have the same markings. The one issue is the casting for the base is different. On the original, I have a threaded hole here, a blind threaded hole that this bolt goes through to hold it to the front of the door. On the new one that I bought, it has a through hole which is fastened with a fillister head screw on the front. This hole is a little bit too far back and will end up on a seam in the door, so I can't put a hole in and a backing nut. So I'm either going to have to find a new base or somehow make a little block that fits in here to make it seem like this one. Aside from that, they are pretty much the same. Little bit of a different contour on the base, but those holes are in the same location. The new one's in better shape than my old one, which is okay, but it's going to take some work to get these to fit, or get this one to fit. So again, for the parts nerds out there, these have the same star imprint in them, 3 stars. Part number is a little bit different, and the casting is slightly different. Again, the front is a little bit pointier on the old one, and the back is a little square on the new one. I still need to figure out how I'm going to make this part. There's some different materials out there, like Ninja Flex for 3D print, that I think is just not going to stand up to UV, but it'll be worth a shot to try some different shapes. And again, I'm going to jump on the forums on the BMW FAQ just to see what's been tried, what's going on out there, everybody else's experiences. Okay, so flash forward an indeterminate amount of time. I'm outside on a beautiful summer day, and I got to make a template to transfer the features for the holes for the mirror to the other side. And I really want to do a good job of mirroring it to the other side so that I have the same kind of sheet metal, because I am cutting sheet metal. It's something I said I'd never do to this car, but to get the mirror on, I got to do it. So just going to use some paper and some tape and try to do my best to get a good location, and then drill some holes. Yeah. Here we go. So I got the template, I just got to cut it out and I'll put it on the other side of the car. I'll do a couple quick measurements and then see how it lines up, and then we'll get out the step drill and drill through. Okay, so I think that's got it. This is pretty much the spot. So I've got some tape on there behind it to stop any burrs in the paint. Now it's just a matter of drilling the holes. So on this one I'm going to do a rivnet instead of the old plastic clip. I figure that'll be a bit better. This one's a through hole that uses a, I think it's an M8 or an M6 or something like that. I've got the hardware in there. So the nerve-wracking part is about to happen, and that's sticking holes in the car. So here we go. We are committed. Okay, so the hole's cut in nice, that's good. I'm gonna grab the riv nut gun and stick the riv nut on, and then we can test fit the mirror for the first time, because I'm gonna have to transfer the hole to the back side. And I got a little bit to explain about what I did there, because the mirrors are different. And the new one I got doesn't use this style of mounting. Cool. Oh, all right, so I've made an error. The hole, or the screw that goes in here, the machine screw that goes in here, is an M4 by 0.7. And I have the riv nut for that. I bought them. This one again is a through nut, but the riv nut kit that I bought, woo, doesn't come with an M4. The smallest it has is a 1024 and an M5. So, seeing as I'm probably never going to use this 1024, and I can probably buy this, I'm going to machine this down to an M4 by 0.7 and see if I can click it on. So I'm going to do that right now. If there's enough time, I will finish this off tonight, but it might be extended to a different day. So check your kit, make sure you got the right stuff. So it might not be the prettiest tool I've ever made, but it's going to work. So just thread the riv nut on. Not my best work, but it's going to do. I've 3D printed this gasket. Well, I didn't 3D print it, I designed it, and my friend 3D printed it for me. So thanks to Craig Lehner for that one. And I'm going to attach the base for the mirror, and I can transfer the hole onto this side. So what I've done on this side, as I mentioned, is different. So I've filled this with JB Weld, but don't fret. I've lined it with tape so that this can be chewed out afterwards if if somebody wants this piece and they need this particular configuration. So I'm going to put a screw through this side where you can't see to hold the JBL chunk in, and after I transfer that on there, the hole through. So let's see how well this fits up. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to transfer the hole over and then get a couple more holes in this base piece, and I can mount it all up. It should look pretty cool. So just to make sure that I get this hole in the exact right spot, I'm going to use the drill bit that I used for this hole just to recenter and make sure I can see exactly where it goes, just to put a little mark. So I've got a perfect hole transferred, well not a hole, but a marking there, so now I got to drill that out and make sure I can get a fastener in there. It's pretty close to the edge, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, getting close. Mirror already makes me feel better, having that to be able to just do a quick glance, see if there's anything off beside me, instead of doing the big head turn. So pretty thrilled with it already. Gonna do some driving around and see what happens. That was the first run, and I'm happy with the mirror. It's a small mirror. If you've ever driven with a Swan neck mirror, it doesn't give you the widest field of view. But I got it pointed right where I would want to not lane change into a car, and I can see the cars there. It gives me a little bit more confidence in traffic to be able to glance around and check it out. So once again, I'm very happy with the addition of the mirror. It looks cool. It was a fun little project. Could probably improve on it. Might redo it when the car's off the road in the winter season, but for now, it's all good.